Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360 live from our studio here at Adesawe in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu Dartey.
And I am Ayisha Yakubu. Let's bring you the headlines for this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
Showdown between the executive and the judiciary as Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu formally writes to President Mahama asking for copies of the petition for her removal.
Also coming up, National Intelligence Bureau intercepts some 3,000 kilograms of cocaine with street value of over $350 million.
8 Chinese and a Ghanaian arrested by operatives of national security in connection with the missing ECG containers at the Tema port.
And later in business, economists warn Monetary Policy Committee against political influence in policy rate decision ahead of governor's announcement tomorrow, March 28.
Elsewhere around the world, 6 people killed and dozens more rescued from Red Sea waters after a tourist submarine sank near an Egyptian resort. We have the details of these and many more stories, including sports and entertainment, coming up over the next 1 hour.
It's been a very busy last few hours. Let's get into the details of what exactly has been happening between the judiciary and the executive. So, the Chief Justice, Gertrude Tokonu, has formally written to President John Dramani Mahama and the Council of State for her to be provided with copies of the petitions against her. Citing Article 1461 of the Constitution, the Chief Justice reminded the President that it was requisite for her to be notified of the various petitions that are asking for her to be removed. She noted that the evidence contained in the petition, coupled with her response, would guide the Council of State to determine whether a case has been made for her to be removed. A letter cited by TV3 and copied to the chairman of the Council of State asked the President and the Council of State to give her at least 1 week to state her response. Gertrude Tokonu's letter is coming on the back of 2 other suits by a Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, Vincent Esifua, and a private citizen, Ebenezer Osewusu, at the Supreme Court seeking to stop the removal of the Chief Justice, citing unconstitutionality of the processes being undertaken. And you recall that as of yesterday, President John Dramani Mahama said that his office had received 3 petitions, and these petitions have been forwarded to the Council of State to determine whether there is a case or a basis for what the petitioners are asking for, which is for the Chief Justice to be removed. And the Chief Justice said that upon hearing that, on social media, she indicated in her letter, which you can see on your screen, she said that she was to also be giving a hearing before the letter was forwarded to the Council of State. So, would want you to also, be on the same page with us. Let's now take you through some of the key components of the Chief Justice's letter. It says the combination of evidence in the petition and the response of the Chief Justice will provide material for consultation between the President and the Council of State. Forward petitions and give at least 7 days after receipt of petition to provide response. And that's one of the key issues she's asking for. Also, she says that no defendant can be subjected to a trial unless the preliminary process of receiving their response has been adhered to. Up-to-date On March 27, 2025, the Chief Justice says that she has not been shown the petitions or allowed to respond to them. And so those are the key highlights of the Chief Justice's letter to the President, and we are waiting to see what the response will be. And hopefully, as the show goes on, we'll try and pick the thoughts of a private legal practitioner, or at least someone within the legal fraternity, to see whether or not the President erred in not hearing the Chief Justice before forwarding the petition to the Council of State.
Right, Martin. Now, in a related development, a citizen, Ebenezer Osei Owusu, has filed a suit at the Supreme Court seeking an order to recall or set aside the petitions for the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Mr. Osei Owusu's reliefs include a declaration that the President cannot appoint a committee to inquire or make a recommendation on a petition for the removal of the Chief Justice without first providing her copies. He is also seeking an order setting aside the President's decision to consult with the Council of State to remove the CJ as unconstitutional, null and void, as well as an order of injunction restraining the President from proceeding to consult with the Council of State to determine a reasonable cause for the removal of Gertrude Torkornoo as Chief Justice.
And just by way of the procedure that the President needs to observe if he has to take out a Chief Justice or remove a Chief Justice, we're told per Article 146(1) of the Constitution, it goes straight to the point that upon receipt of such petitions, the President is expected to let the Council of State know that this is what he has received. We'll put that on your screen shortly. But before that, let's look at what exactly Vincent Isifua, who is a member of Parliament for Tafo, is seeking. Now, upon hearing that the President has forwarded petitions to the Council of State, he quickly went to the Supreme Court and is asking the Supreme Court to declare upon true and proper interpretations of the Constitution, the President is mandated to call and solicit comments from the Chief Justice. It says, is seeking a declaration that failure by the President to notify the Chief Justice and obtain comments violates Article 146 and protection of the security of tenure of the CJ. Also asking the Supreme Court to declare that failure by the President to notify the Chief Justice amounts to an unjustified interference with the independence of the judiciary. And also seeking that the Supreme Court declare that the failure by the President to notify the Chief Justice constitutes a violation of the fundamental rights to a fair hearing contained in Article 23 and 296 and renders the consultation process for the removal of the Chief Justice initiated by the President null, void, and of no effect. And the bone of contention that a few people have been talking about is captured in 1468 of the same 1992 Constitution, part of the reasons why many people love law. So it goes on to say specifically at 8 that all proceedings under this article shall be held in camera, meaning the public is not supposed to be aware of it, and the justice or chairman against whom the petition is made is entitled to be heard. I wish you could underline that. Is entitled to be heard in his defense by himself or by a lawyer or other expert of his choosing. So that is the part of the Article 146 that people are talking about and trying to find clarity to. Let's speak to Martin Pebu now. He's joined us via Zoom for some legal perspectives on this particular issue. Mr. Pebu, a very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us on News 360.
Yeah, good evening. Evening.
Right. To start with, maybe before I ask whether the President has erred or not, what is your interpretation of how all of this is played out? That the Chief Justice says that she needs to be giving a hearing even before the Council of State is notified of a petition for her removal.
I cannot understand the Chief Justice to say so, I don't, because you see, let's look at the meaning of this, the architecture we are dealing with. This removal of the, in this case, let's say the Chief Justice. So, the Constitution says that, right? Well, not the Constitution, but let's say the interpretation through the Frank A.J. Chum versus Attorney General and Bright Akwete case. The Supreme Court held that the President, in consultation with the Council of State, should make the prima facie determination. It simply means the President should take the petition, of course, scrutinize it to see if it's it has a bit of merit, not the total. So I'd like to give this example, assuming that hypothetically, the example is that, the Chief Justice, I'm not talking about Tokonu, so I'm talking about an example that is such a Chief Justice. So let's say Martin Asiedu that as Chief Justice, let's put you in there. You've had dinner 5 times with, let's say, Alfredo Kanse. Whilst Alfredo Kanse had a case with, let's say, Beatrice Edu. So Beatrice Edu and Alfredo Kanse are in the Supreme Court. And then you, Martin Asiedu that as Chief Justice of Ghana, you were saying having dinner with Alfredo Kanse on 5 different occasions. And then Beatrice Edu has pictures of it and has used it for a petition that it should be removed for stated misbehavior. Why should you be having dinner with Okanse whilst you have a case, this Beatrice Edu has a case with her? In this case, in the explanation prima facie, my example is that once there is a picture, which the President is able first to determine to see if there's an AI-generated picture. Once it shows that it's not AI-generated, but it's a real picture, so that is an example of prima facie. So, in doing that determination, right, the President will not be going into the merits at all. So we're just trying to give what prima facie looks like. It should be said that it's not a frivolous matter. So in this example, assuming the checks by the scientists and the forensics people shows that the picture is AI generated, it's not a real picture, all right, and everything borders on that, the President can dismiss it straight away without even inviting you, Martin Asiedu Dartey, Chief Justice of Ghana, to respond. No. So what we are basically saying that there are some types of petitions the President will not invite the Chief Justice to respond. They will be so frivolous. They will be so bad. Maybe very, very insulting. Every line is full of insult. The person is not talking sense, but is insulting the Chief Justice. Martin Asiedu that left, right, center. So by the time you are done, you see that this is just invectives, vitriol, etc. In that case, you don't need Asiedu Dartey to respond.
Right.
The President, in consultation with the Council of State, can throw it out.
Right.
So all we're saying is that it appears, it's good, it shows vigilance. But from the way the Constitution is worded, the main danger, which is that, will the President attempt to do the whole exercise without the Chief Justice? I don't think so. Okay. Unless, when I say the whole exercise, I mean the prima facie determination. The President will invite comment. If it passes the first hurdle of not being frivolous, not being a joke. So if something is a joke, Martin, let's move on. Another example, assuming the petition is not signed, it's within President Mahama's discretion to say, look, this is an unsigned petition. I'll throw it away straight away. Of course, he will consult Council of State. Or assuming the petition has no names. We know in the past, President Kufuor asked them to correct. Maybe Mahama will say, no, I don't want to make corrections. I'll throw it out, right? You remember the Charlotte or remover, the petition had issues. There were no names. Or is this signature? One of those. President Kufuor allowed them to correct. But it's not like a court of law. GM is not bound. He may look at it and say, me, I'll throw out. So all we're saying is that in terms of whether the President
so, Council, sorry for cutting in, but so the basic understanding is that at least someone must determine whether there is a prima facie case or not. And it will be on the back of that that the Chief Justice will now be invited to make her point or give a response to these cases. But until that is determined, we cannot say that she should start giving a responses. Is that a fair point to make?
Partly. Let me add this sentence. In determining the prima facie, sometimes the petition will be so bad that you don't need to invite the Chief Justice. You can just go ahead and determine it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
That sometimes the petition may be so bad that don't even ask the Chief Justice to respond before you do a prima facie. So
does the determination of the prima facie, would it normally be contained in the petition? How could that be done? Because the understanding would be that there should be a certain grounds on which we would want to now investigate. And those grounds, how is it determined? Does it normally come with the petition?
Yes. So I like even what you've stated about grounds. So let's say when we read Article 146, you get 3 main grounds. Stated Article 146 of the Constitution says that you can remove a justice of the Superior Court, including the justice, on 3 main grounds. Stated misbehavior, incompetence, and then infirmity of mind or body, that's ill health. The person is so sick that he cannot perform the functions. So let's say, for example, somebody writes, the petition is that, Martin Asiedu Dartey as Chief Justice has too many children. Maybe, just as an example, has 12 children. I don't think a Chief Justice of Ghana should have many children. So what the example I'm giving is that if the petition comes and it looks very, very bad, this one, you can't say you want a Chief Justice who has 12 children should not be a Chief Justice. So I'm giving these frivolous, these very bad ones, the president can ask the Council of State and they'll do a prima facie determination that, listen, this thing is so bad that we'll throw it out. So the prima facie, I'm mentioning 2 types. If the petition is very bad that it can be thrown out without a response from the respondent, that's in this case, Martin Asiedu Dartey as Chief Justice, the president and the Council of State can do it. But if they look to it and they see that there's something in it, you see the earlier example I gave, that you and Okanse having dinner 5 times, even if it's once, it may be sufficient. If they see the picture and everything shows that it's a genuine picture, it's not AI generated, then they'll say, hey, look at the picture, it's a genuine one. Then in that case, ask Chief Justice Asiedu Dartey to respond. So that when Asiedu Dartey responds, then we can make a determination from whether to let the case go to the second stage, that's setting up of the court proper or not. So let's get to that. If the thing is so bad, why do you ask the Chief Justice to respond? You can look at it and throw out with the Council of State. But if it looks like it's genuine, it's not bad, you can ask the Chief Justice to respond before you determine the prima facie. Even some will tell you that, look, you don't even need the Chief Justice at all. That jurisprudence is coming up, but it's not yet well established. But it's been there. It's been there. Some will tell you that, no. Prima facie means let the accuser show you some evidence. So you can go ahead and use only the accuser's evidence. That's the likes of Professor Kweku Asari. That's Azar. Yeah, I've seen his article saying that
we are grateful
Chief Justice should not be invited.
We are grateful for the clarity that you've brought to this. And like you indicated, it's early days yet, so we'll see what the next line of action would be, either from the executive, especially going forward. Thank you very much for making time to speak with us. Martin Pewu is a private legal practitioner.
The National Intelligence Bureau has intercepted a massive consignment of cocaine weighing 3.3 tons en route to Accra from the Central Region. The operation, conducted on March 4, 2025, at Pedu Junction in Cape Coast, uncovered 143 sacks of cocaine concealed beneath sand in a tipper truck traveling from Takrady to Weija,
which had 2 occupants, was intercepted following intelligence gathering efforts by the NIB. Field testing conducted by the Narcotics Control Commission, NACOC, confirmed the substance as raw cocaine. The initial seizure weighed 2,974 kilograms. Subsequent intelligence-led operations on March 8 led NIB officers to a suspect's residence, where an additional 13 sacks and 1 bag of suspected cocaine weighing 345.07 kilograms were discovered. Laboratory tests by NACOC and the Ghana Standards Authority again confirmed the total consignment, 3,319.68 kilograms, as a high-purity cocaine, ranging between 50 and 70% purity. The cocaine, with an estimated street value exceeding $350 million, is believed to have entered the country via sea using fishing vessels. 2 suspects, Isaac Kweku and Kenneth Kobina, have been remanded into custody and are scheduled to reappear in court on April 2nd, 2025. The NIB has identified additional suspects currently at large and is pursuing their arrest to ensure all individuals involved are brought to justice. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's bring you a little more detail on that seizure by the National Intelligence Bureau. It turns out that on March 4, 2025, a tipper truck carrying sand from Pedu Junction, Cape Coast to Waja, Accra was intercepted, like we mentioned in the story. That was where the cocaine was hidden, in the tipper truck carrying sand. Now, the suspects are named Isaac Kwaku and Kenneth Kobna. Also, the first seizure had 143 sacks, which equals 2,974 kilograms. 2,974 kilograms. And the second seizure, which is 13 sacks plus one bag, is 345.05 kilograms. And then the total seized are 3,319.68, which equals to 3.3 tons. And for the purity, there's 50 to 75% high purity cocaine. The market value is $350 million. And the suspects have been remanded and are to reappear in court on April 2, 2025, which is coming Wednesday. Now, more accomplices have been identified and are being pursued. The cocaine was hidden, like I said, under sand in a tipper truck to avoid detection. The seizure is one of Ghana's largest drug busts so far. The high purity suggests links to international drug cartels. So we're keeping an eye on that and bring more on that particular discovery.
What has been happening in the last 24 hours? 8 Chinese and a Ghanaian have been arrested by operatives of the national security in connection with the missing ECG containers from the Tema port. Information we've gathered indicate that cables believed to be part of the missing consignment was traced to an aluminium smelter owned by the Chinese located at Shai Hills. The total number of suspects, I beg your pardon, rounded up by the security agencies at the end of the operation was 19, including a number of Chinese nationals. The Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Abdullahi Jinapo, earlier today revealed that security operatives have traced 40 out of the 1,300 missing containers belonging to the ECG to a warehouse in Kbu. So it seems to be quickly developing following the announcement of the disappearance of those containers from the Tema port. We'll definitely get updates on this for you. But let's speak to Komla Kluche, our reporter who's been following the security operatives, to give us some detail. Komla, thank you for joining us. So what exactly did these operatives find, the security agencies? How did they get the bust? And can you tell us the specific locations?
Okay, so Martin, the security operatives in what we can call a tip-off today traced their intelligence to 2 aluminium smelting companies located at Shai Hills, which is opposite the game reserves. If you know that enclave very well, it's just directly opposite the game reserves. The first one is Ponlock Manufacturing Company Limited, and the other one is Dongfang Building Materials. What did these operatives see? Within the compound, when you enter, it's they smelled or melt this
cables.
What they melt scrap. I mean, they receive a lot of scrap material, and then they melt it to form aluminium bars and all that. But what they found out was that within the warehouse of this aluminium smelting company or this scrap company where rolls or bundles of conductors, which are believed to be the property of ECG. Now, if you look also on the inscription on some of them, most of which they have already melted to form this aluminium bar. The inscription you will find on it, for instance, one mentions the name of the supplier as Avensis Energy Private Limited and has a client, Ministry of Energy, Ghana. And the product in there is a conductor which length is 6,000 meters. And then when you look on it, the country of origin is India, and it was manufactured and brought into the country in July 2024. Now, it's important and worth noting that from the operation by the National Security Council, these containers, 1,300 or so, thereabout, got missing in 2024. And that is what is on the documentations of what we have found within the company. These individuals, 12 of them in all, and then a Ghanaian, after the screening, and those of interest that the National Security think that would assist them in investigation amounted to 12 of them in addition to a Ghanaian. They said they only took contact or they took the confinement really
Kamla, thank you. Okay, so Kamla definitely will be bringing further details of this particular revelations and bust by security operatives, especially on Ghana Tonight, which will be at 10 p.m. So do make a date for those details.
Moving away from crime, the Ministry of Education is to convert some schools in the rural areas into boarding houses. This, according to the ministry, is to reverse the double track system where some 150,000 students have been affected. Sector Minister Haruna Idrisi was addressing the media when he inaugurated a committee to consider reversing the double track system.
The double track system was rolled out in 2018 to address increase in enrollment into the senior high schools. Students under the double track were allowed to study for about 2 to 3 months and vacate. More than 300,000 students were under the double track system when it was implemented. In 2024, government said about 70% of the schools were under the double track system. But the problem of increased in student population continued to affect the implementation of the free senior high school program. Based on that, the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisi, has inaugurated a committee to focus on reversing the double track system.
Functional free senior high school that is adequately funded with supporting infrastructure, both lecture and accommodation. A few of the schools will convert them into boarding schools where necessary, particularly in the rural areas. That will require infrastructure support, but we'll do that in order that they are absorbed into it.
He also spoke about securing funds to complete STEM and E-block schools to accommodate the students.
Regrettable that a few of the Get Farm projects dating back 2014-15 that were started, many of them stand uncompleted. From my reading, I have about 62. We intend to work on some 22 quickly with our CAPEX budget, if that allows us.
In a related development, the sector minister, Haruna Idrisi, was also concerned about improving quality for the free senior high school program. He directed a committee to consider the cost of implementing the free SHS program in private schools.
That even part of the manifesto pledge was to extend the expansion realm to private free senior high school. Don't hesitate. Let us know what cost is involved. Government will take full responsibility for that cost. What we want is every qualified Ghanaian child who deserves free senior high school must have it.
By 2030, consumer spending on tourism, hospitality and recreation in Africa is projected to reach in excess of $261 billion. This, the government of Ghana and South Africa have agreed to collaborate in ensuring potentials in both countries are well harnessed.
Economies are raking in millions of dollars through tourism. In Africa, Tourism has the potential to create 3.8 million direct and indirect jobs in the next 10 years. A country doing well in that regard is South Africa, although industry players believe more could be done. With vast tourism potentials, South Africa continues to sell itself globally to increase tourist arrivals. Health Sector Minister Patricia De Lille says it will collaborate with Ghana to maximize benefits.
We've been able to at least create 1.68 million direct and indirect jobs from tourism. And today we are here to unlock any further travel barriers that will impact on the travel between Ghana and South Africa.
She further lauded Ghanaians for the consumption of South Africa's rich tourism, explaining how the Africa Continental Free Trade Area can boost the sector.
The AU. This is a historic year for South Africa. As we chair and host the G20 for the first time on African soil, we are proud that we can showcase and look at not only the development of South Africa, but the whole of the continent. So the theme for our G20s will be solidarity, equality, and sustainability. And we will focus on how we harness tourism potential for sustainable development in Africa.
The government of Ghana expressed readiness and its quest to unlock the country's tourism potentials.
Ghana remains committed to creating an enabling environment for tourism businesses, and I urge our tour operators to take full advantage of this collaboration. This is a call to action for our industry stakeholders to intensify their promotional efforts, ensuring that South Africa tourists recognize Ghana as a must-visit destination.
South Africa is on a deliberate drive to increase tourist arrivals and also make the country one of the best tourist destinations in the world.
Despite the macroeconomic challenges MTN Ghana encountered in 2024, the company achieved a 34.5% year-on-year growth in service revenue. Board Chairman of Scancom PLC MTN Ghana, Dr. Ishmael Yamson, disclosed this at the 2025 MTN Annual General Meeting.
MTN Ghana's 2024 financial report showcases its mobile money revenues growth with a year-on increase of 54.4%, reaching a total of 4.4 billion Ghana cedis.
The growth reflects not only the increasing demand from our customer base, but also our strategic investments aimed at enhancing 4G connectivity, thereby improving customer acquisition and our overall engagement.
According to the Chief Executive Officer of MTN Ghana, Stephen Blowett, Ghana revenue saw significant growth, increasing by 53.8% year-on to 9 billion Ghana cedis.
This impressive increase facilitated a 13.7% rise in our active data subscribers.
In its commitment to network excellence, last year MTN Ghana earned the top position in Net Promoter Score within the telecommunications sector. The board chairman of Scancom PLC MTN Ghana, Dr. Ishmael Yamson, noted that the company is driven by a profound commitment to make a positive impact on Ghanaians.
We had the privilege of completing a 60-bed maternity and neonatal center for the Keta Municipal Hospital, as well as constructing an accident and emergency block at the Bojase Polyclinic.
MTN's mid-30s rise in service revenue was largely driven by a significant increase in data services, mobile money services, and a diverse range of digital services.
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. Business is next after this.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the business segment on News 360. My name is Minu Afol. Now, Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, has wrapped up its inaugural meeting under the leadership of Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama. The three-day session, which commenced on March 24, focused on evaluating the nation's economic performance with particular attention to inflation trends and monetary policy. The committee is set to announce its policy rates decision tomorrow, March 28, a move that is highly anticipated by financial analysts and market participants.
The Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee has concluded its first meeting under the stewardship of Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama. Over the past 3 days, the committee has scrutinized various economic indicators, including inflation rates, exchange rate stability, and overall economic growth. Currently, the benchmark interest rate stands at 27%, a level maintained since January 2025. Analysts are keenly awaiting March 28 announcement to see if the central bank will adjust the rate in response to recent economic developments. The forthcoming policy rate decision is expected to have significant implications for borrowing costs, investment strategies, and the broader economic landscape. Stakeholders across various sectors are advised to stay tuned for the official announcement and its potential impact on financial planning and operations.
Meanwhile, a financial economist at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, Dr. Eric Wachi-Yadom, has urged the Bank of Ghana not to be influenced by politics in its key lending rates decision.
Consistently, Treasury bill rates from January 6th has been falling. And if we look at the rate of fall from January to February, it has fallen around 30%. Then from January to date, it has fallen around 44%. But reference rate has hovered around 28%. And the lending rate, as he rightly mentioned, is around 30%. Now, we know that the Treasury bill rate constitutes about 40% in determining the reference rate. So if for nothing, if the Treasury bill rate is coming down, which the reference rate is determined monthly, and banks based on it to determine their lending rate. So if it is falling, we should have expected a marginal fall, at least either 1% or something in the reference rate. But it has been stationed at that around the 29.7 or 28%. What it means is that the fall in the Treasury bill rate is somehow artificial, and it's not really communicating to the other ecosystem that will make it real. Expecting that as they are preparing to announce the policy rate, they should come out with a rate which is realistic, not for political reasons. Because the idea that the government is trying is that let's make the Treasury bill fall, let's make it less attractive, so that banks will end up lending to businesses. But we cannot force.
Away from that, EcoBank, a Pan-African bank, has organized a seminar on building lasting educational institutions. The seminar offered non-financial support through capacity building to educational institution heads.
The event focused on fostering dialogue regarding innovative approaches to create sustainable educational institutions that can deliver high-quality education for future generations. It also included speeches that explored various innovative strategies for educational institutions, emphasizing the integration of technology. Speaking at the event, the head of commercial banking, Charlotte Amankwa, noted that EcoBank recognizes its role in society is more expansive than just providing banking services.
At EcoBank Ghana, we recognize and acknowledge that our role extends beyond the scope of traditional banking. We are partners in development, a catalyst for growth, and strong advocates and promoters of education. We understand that by investing in education, we are investing in the very soul of our nation, Ghana.
She emphasized that EcoBank is fully committed to supporting its clients in the education sector.
We have an unwavering commitment of working with our partners to provide meaningful support for building institutions that not only impart knowledge, but also inspire innovation, character, and resilience. Our dedication and focus on the education sector spans decades, during which we have continuously deepened our understanding of the unique financial needs and challenges faced by educational institutions. Our partnerships extend across the full spectrum of the education ecosystem, from preschools to tertiary institutions, covering both private and public institutions.
This event is a part of the bank's commitment to supporting education and community development.
In other news, maintaining healthy and beautiful hair is a priority for many, and Mega Growth is making strides to meet that demand. As part of its product relaunch, the brand invited relaxer and learn best practices for achieving optimal results.
It's a part of appearance. It is a symbol of beauty. For many, finding the right hair product is essential to maintaining healthy, strong hair. To meet the evolving needs of customers, Mega Growth has rebranded its hair relaxer line, introducing new look and same formula. As part of the relaunch, the company invited hairdressers from across Greater Accra to learn more about the upgraded product. The country rep for Weave Ghana, Angela Baba, emphasized the purpose of the event.
Mega Growth has been like the leading relaxer brand, right, for the past 10 years. And recently we did a pack refresh. Just to make the product look more cleaner, put the Ghanaian woman, the African woman at the center of even our packaging. So this program is just to, officially unveil the new package of Mega Growth to our consumers and our hairdressers.
As a brand that prioritizes its customers, Mega Growth plans to embark on a nationwide campaign to engage more users.
The campaign is the Relax Right campaign, which we'll be doing all across Ghana in partnership with the hair associations, which is the hairdressers. So we are going to make sure that every salon you walk to that you use Mega Growth, they are going to relax, neutralize to ensure that you have good hair growth. Yes.
The event featured live demonstrations where 3 individuals had their hair relaxed on site to showcase the product's effectiveness.
And that's it for Business on News 360. My name is Minu Afo. Stay with us. Sports News is up next.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Horeku Ampofo. Early on Thursday, the 2025 budget for the Sports and Recreation Ministry was approved by Parliament. A sum of 65 million Ghana cedis has been allocated to the ministry for the 2025 year to run its operations, as announced by the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Bernard Ahiafo.
The question is, as many as are in favor of the motion numbered 12 on today's order paper, page 4, say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted, and this House accordingly approves the sum of 65,899,456 Ghana cedis for the services of the Ministry of Sports and Recreation for the year ending 31st December 2025.
Or to some more stories, where breaking fast in the month of Ramadan is a tradition observed by Muslims across the world. In sports, various organizations are gradually embracing the observation of Iftar. Clubs like Leicester City make arrangements for their players and staff to break their fast with the whole Muslim community. Here in Ghana, Bilishan explores how Nima Kings observe Iftar with players, staff and parents.
During Ramadan, communities gather in the evenings to enjoy the Iftar, a meal that breaks their daily fast. The Iftar traces its roots to Prophet Muhammad in the 7th century and serves as a core tenet of Islam. It is deemed as a time for families to foster a sense of unity while reflecting and strengthening their relationship with Allah. Leicester City winger Abdul Fattah Isahaku and Feyenoord winger Ibrahim Osman were recently spotted with teammates and fans partaking in the Iftar. Back in Ghana, Nima Kings, a third division club in Accra, observes the practice, sharing meals with children and their parents after training sessions.
We think it is a very important thing that will help us to grow as a small family, because Nima Kings, we see ourselves, the players, the coaches, the parents, as one family and a very small community.
The club was formed in 2021 at the heart of Nima, a predominant Islamic town that has produced some of Ghana's best footballers like Mohamed Kudus, Majid Ashimeru and Ibrahim Osman. Each day, the club welcomes prospective footballers from the ages of 6 to teach them the basics of the game and provide a family-like environment for growth. This is Ali Nabas, a 20-year-old defender with the Nima Kings senior team who doubles as a youth coach for the junior team. He believes that the Iftar serves as a great learning experience for younger ones at the club.
Yeah, it's good because as we used to say, breaking fast together is the best way for every Muslim. And also the children too, as we used to break fast together, they also see us and they always copy us. So that's how we used to break the fast.
Families of these young kids are often spotted at training sessions following the progress of their children. For the parents, the club has fostered a commendable sense of inclusivity.
As first, you have to carry your kids to maybe somewhere, you can't monitor him, you don't know how is he and all that. But here in Nima Kings, we can come in at any time to see them, to see their improvements. They are like at least everything they are in football.
Oh, I was very, very happy to be about, because the parents, we don't know each other like this. But today, most of them can see that we are supposed to know each other.
The Iftar and football is a match made in heaven, as groups of people from different backgrounds come together as one big family. This practice is here to stay and will be an important part of team bonding for years to come.
Well, a very lovely story there, bringing an end to the sports segment here on News 360. If you're after some more sports stories, you can follow us on social media, 3SportsGH on 3news/sports. My name is Horeku Ampofo.
Appreciation for theatre in Ghana is steadily increasing thanks to the dedication and hard work of Ghanaian theatre professionals. This rising interest has prompted stakeholders to explore how creative content can become a key driver of economic growth and contribute to the country's GDP.
Told through drama, music and performance can inspire a deeper appreciation for our history and culture.
World Theatre Day, celebrated annually on March 27th, honors the art of theatre, its practitioners, and its vital role in cultural exchange and human expressions. The day provides an opportunity to reflect on the impact of theatre on societies around the world, as well as to highlight the significance of arts in fostering connections and understanding. In Ghana, the International Theatre Institute and the Department of Theatre Arts at the School of Performing Arts hosted a special event to mark the occasion.
The powers of theatre is that they can tell the truth almost always, through escaping powers that would prefer.
Professor Awo Mana Asiedu, acting dean of the School of Performing Arts, encouraged practitioners to harness the power of theatre to address important societal issues.
Theatre can be used to address many social issues, and one of the things I have said today is that as practitioners, our voice has to be out there loud enough, addressing pressing social issues. And I think one of the pressing social issues for me at the moment is the Galamsey menace.
In a panel discussion, speakers addressed the variety of issues affecting Ghana's creative economy and proposed potential solutions. Latif Abubakari, a playwright and CEO of Globe Productions, was among those sharing insights.
Creative economy could be number one if we take it serious. Trust me, and that is basically the take home. People should begin thinking that way. We should move away from the word passion. Creativity is no longer about passion. It's about power, profit, and progress. So basically what it means is that if you believe in your story, the power of your story, tell it, sell it, protect it, and then create industries around it. Because the ultimate goal now is to create industries out of our creativity. And that is what and how we should be thinking as Ghanaians. Basically, that is what is making the Hollywoods.
The event was attended by key industry stakeholders from academia, tourism, and the creative arts sector.
That's our package for this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu.
And I am Ayisha Yakubu. Good evening.